Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tonight's special introduction has been postponed. Actually, tonight's special introduction has been canceled because tonight you are not going to get a little, fancy, intro from me tonight. We're going to get that maybe a little more halfway through this show, based off of a segment that happened tonight on Raw. That I will have to give someone else credit, of course, for coming up with this because I did check out someone else's live review before I decided to do mine because I was trying to get something else done. But guys, what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for my live review of Monday Night Raw from the March 11th, 2019 edition of Raw, the Fallout show from the surprisingly good pay-per-view last night, WWE Fastlane, which again, Fastlane is usually just a skippable, okay, just get by this and we'll be done. But again, to my surprise, I enjoyed it last night. So I was excited for this episode of Raw. And also a note from last night's episode of Raw, it took place in my hometown, or I'm sorry, if I take the, if I shall channel my inner Mick Foley, the Fallout show from Roadblock End of the Line 2016. And we're going to do it right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ironically enough, they were in Columbus or Cleveland, whichever one they were in. But that's one of the biggest botches ever I've ever remember saying. I'm like, oh no, Mick. But yes, tonight's show did take place right here in my hometown of Pittsburgh, and I did not attend though, and it was mainly because I was just saving the money towards my WrestleMania trip. So I did not go. Do I regret going? Not going, or am I glad I did not go? Some ways yes, some ways no. There was stuff on this show that I did enjoy. I feel like it would have been a satisfying show for me to go to, but it still had its down moments. And how it's described in tonight's episode of Raw. Let's make it into a sandwich. Let's make a sandwich here, people. That does not sound right at all, but that's what I'm referring to. You got bread on one side. You got more bread on the other side. Two slices of bread, meaning, one of the hours, the first hour and the last hour, not too bad. It had little things here and there, but, not too bad. But tell you what, I don't know what was in the center in that sandwich. Was it, what can I think? Like really, dried up turkey? Was it expired salami? Was it maybe like Brussels sprouts or, a bunch of celery or something that tastes awful, in my opinion? Because it was no PBJ, it was no bologna, and it was definitely no meatball marinara sub with bacon on it for sure. Just some references to some of my favorite sandwiches, definitely eat, or a tasty chicken sandwich as well. But I'm getting a little far ahead of myself. Basically, the first and third hours weren't too bad. There was some stuff that I'm like, but it wasn't really awful. The second hour I thought was garbage. The second hour was just absolute garbage for sure. Just nothing in that second hour to me made sense at all tonight. But I did get hyped up for WrestleMania based off of some things that happened tonight. So we're getting a little more of a clear-cut picture of what's going on for WrestleMania in some ways. And I can say I'm still excited. 27 days away from WrestleMania. Of course, that means 25 days since till I leave WrestleMania, which again, I'm leaving Friday, April the 5th, after TakeOver. Again, Dan and I are taking the mega bus. We're at 11 o'clock, and then we're going to ride the mega bus to New York overnight to our destination. And again, I'm pretty pumped. I think, it's definitely going to be fun. There's something I'm looking forward to. Yes, maybe getting to WrestleMania, well, the storyline-wise, may not be the smoothest, but I think the experience in general for me will be worth it. But without further ado, let's check the live chat first. See if we got anybody in the live chat. We just got Mark. He thought Raw sucked, which is fine. Again, I thought the first and third hours were decent. The second hour again was awful for me. But if you think it sucked, that's completely fine with you, man. Michael Cole forgot to mention there are going to be two more Hall of Famers, Booker T and two more two-time Hall of Famers. That is true. Since they didn't really fail to mention that Booker T is now going to be a. Actually, I'm so sorry. They did mention it, or was I just hearing? No. I think I think I must have heard when I watched someone else's review. But if I mentioned that Booker T is now a two-time MVP, two-time, not five-time. Well, I don't think it'll be a five-time, but two-time Hall of Famer. Booker T, of course. Since the Harlem Heat, the team of him and his real life brother, of course, Stevie Ray, are going to the Hall of Fame, which I think is definitely awesome for sure. I mean, I didn't see too much of their matches, but I kind of got a feel for them a little bit when I checked out that WWE 24 special. I think it's only like the second 24 special, because the first one is the one on Roman Reigns. The second one was about Booker T, and I got a little bit of a feel for Booker T and his brother Stevie Ray, for sure. And I definitely am happy they're in it as well. So that'll kind of address that elephant in the room as well. He thought if those two Saturday Night Live guys would show up, if I was those two Saturday Night guys, I would not show up at WrestleMania. I'm saying this. I'm not saying this in a way of, yeah, you guys better not show up at WrestleMania. You're not going to be safe. I'm saying it as you better not show up at WrestleMania means don't show up at WrestleMania because I hate you guys, and you're making someone look even more like a joke than he already is. Oh my goodness, that was the worst. That is probably where I wanted to like really spit fire tonight in this review when we get to that segment. I hated that. He also thought that the IC title match sucked. I didn't think it sucked completely. I thought it was a decent match. Well, first off, excuse us again because Pittsburgh crowds are never really that good usually. Well, some parts of the show they were into it. Some parts they just absolutely were not into it, or just one moment they're probably more so like, what the fuck is this here? But I definitely got to admit again, us Pittsburgh crowds are not usually the greatest, especially, of course, when I went to Extreme Rules last year and they had the countdown for every single minute in that Iron Man match. It took me out of the match. Again, I was mad at the crowd more than I was mad at the match. The match I thought wasn't too bad, but again, I couldn't concentrate because of the crowd. Yeah, at least we're not Lafayette, Louisiana. And Mark also said that still no Dean heel turn. We'll get to Dean at the end because I have a feeling I had a different vision about Dean, though, in my opinion, at the end of this match, at the end of that main event, which I will get to, of course, at the end. But let's get started here, guys. So the show opened up with, of course, Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta Shield. The Shield come out, as it was announced before Raw, that the Shield come out, open up the show by giving their farewell address, emphasizing that this will be the last time they will ever, stand tall together, basically. Roman said while he was gone, he came to realize that life is short. If last time was the last time ever, he has no regrets. He was in the ring, loves doing what he loves to do with the people he loves, but we're on the road to Mania, and these three have business to handle. Roman says he hasn't had a singles match in 5 months, so he wants to correct that and wrestle tonight. Ambrose has got some business to take care of, too. But he says, but wherever it is, man, good luck with it. He kind of just like pushes aside to let bygones be good bygones. And he says, but Rollins has the real business. And asks him, how many years have you been chasing the dream? Which the Slay the Beast chants got going. And Roman said that's exactly what he's going to do. And the whole world chanting, burn it down. Shield fist bump, and that was it. Rollins and Ambrose had nothing to say, and they just walk away. Well, Reigns and Ambrose at least start walking away. I'm like, that's it. Like you're saying, you're going your separate ways. I mean, again, they said at the beginning during the entrance again about Dean Ambrose's contract not being renewed. That it was announced. So that was it. I'm like, okay. I mean, like you didn't have Ambrose or Rollins say anything at least. Like I found that a little weird. So I don't know, this is kind of like a little short. A little rushed, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I guess we're going our separate ways, and whatever's going to happen with Roman. But again, my prediction was that Dean was going to. We were going to hear from all three of them, and Dean was going to say, "Hey, I did you a favor. Now I need you to do me a favor." Or I think someone suggested also the idea of. I think it might have been you, Mark. I can't remember who it was, but someone suggested the idea of Roman addressing Dean, trying to get him to stay. And they have a match at WrestleMania where if Roman wins, Dean leaves. But if Dean wins, he stays. Like, I can't remember what it was. Maybe you, Mark, might have been somebody else. Can't remember who it was. Maybe it might have been the Tic Tac or Jam or whatever your name is on Twitter if you're in the live chat. Also, but I thought that was going to happen. But it was just like, okay, we had our match last night. Now we have our own business to take care of. Peace. It's like, okay, that was kind of a little short and sweet. Well, not short and sweet, but short and strange, I felt. Afterwards, of course, Roman and Dean leave, but then Rollins stays in the ring, and he starts to say how last night the Shield burned it down, but then all of a sudden get interrupted by who else but ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate of the reigning, defending, undisputed, lazy-ass champion of the world, Brock Lesnar. I straighten there. Rollins says he likes the pronunciation of Brock Lesnar. He tries it out before asking if he means the one that dominates his opponents, from Big Show to Samoa Joe to Braun Strowman to Bill Goldberg, even though, remember, Goldberg squashed him in a minute and a half. Heyman says he appreciates having his shtick done for him. And yes, that Brock Lesnar, which most of those names, he didn't really have great matches. Well, some of them he has in the past. Like the only one I'd say he never had a good match was Braun Strowman. He had a couple decent matches with Big Show, except for that Royal Rumble 2014 match. That was pathetic. Again, Samoa Joe was decent, a good bit better. His Braun Strowman matches I never liked. Those were awful. And I give credit. I thought the 7-minute match, however long it was, they had at WrestleMania 33 was fine. I was fine with that. So pretty much the name, like the worst of matches. But Seth asks if he also met the same guy that had a real tough time getting past Daniel Bryan, got pushed to the limit by AJ Styles, and was this close to being beaten by Finn Balor. Touche, Heyman says. Rollins continues saying his client has a bit of a problem with guys his size, stature, speed, quickness, agility, and style. And with all due respect to those three guys, they're incredible. But there's one man suited to beat Brock, and that's Seth freaking Rollins. He has 3 weeks left before he brings the Universal Championship back to Raw. But of course, Paul starts making the excuse of saying, how that, oh, well, those matches against those smaller guys, which is kind of true. Brock didn't know until maybe at most 12 days before it was happening. 12 days! This is go back to the Usos promo from a couple years ago. 12 days until we got this happening. 12 days until Brock Lesnar got to face Finn Balor. 12 days until, 27 days till WrestleMania. 25 days till I'm on the bus head to New York. Okay, I'm getting a little crazy there. Anyways, he points that out. And then, of course, Seth says that, that you're making excuses and whatnot. But then he said Brock's been, fantasized ever since that Rollins won the Rumble. I was going to do it at Mania. You think you know Brock Lesnar, but you do not know Brock Lesnar. And then I'm just like, I hear a noise in the crowd. I'm thinking, okay, is Brock sneaking through the crowd and he's going to take out Seth Rollins? Although, well, later on we were told that he's going to be there next week, but who knows? But all of a sudden, out in the crowd, someone starts attacking Rollins from behind, giving him suplexes. And I'm just like, at first, I forgot about the IC title match. I thought first it was Bobby Lashley, and I'm just like, well, I guess they'll do another match with Rollins and Lashley because even though they kind of had Rollins take out Lashley with the curb stomp last night. Basically, they still kind of unfinished business one-on-one, I guess. But then I was like, wait, that guy's not Bobby Lashley. That's on my mouth. It was Shelton Benjamin. No, I'm sorry. It was Shelton Benjamin, which I did not know until tonight. Once again, late bloomer wrestling fan here. That back in the day, like years ago, Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin were actually roommates. They were pretty good friends. They were also tag team partners. It says here the Minnesota stretching crew basically. He came in here and he starts throwing German suplexes and tossed Rollins around for a good 3 or 4 times before we go to break. basically, I believe from what we got, there was a segment apparently during a commercial break explaining what Shelton Benjamin's here to do. Basically, basically it's like Shelton Benjamin was trying to be Brock Lesnar, like the preview for Brock Lesnar, even though. I mean, again, Shelton Benjamin's awesome, but he's no Brock Lesnar for sure. But okay, it kind of makes sense because him and Lesnar have a history of being good pals and partners together. But it was random seeing Shelton Benjamin showing up on Raw though, because he's been on SmackDown, but he's not been doing anything on SmackDown ever since him and they split him and Gable up. We have a match though, Seth Rollins and Shelton Benjamin. Not too bad of a match. But eventually, throughout the match, we see Shelton Benjamin pretty much being Brock Lesnar, hitting suplexes and whatnot. And he also tries to set him up for like an F5 looking like or something like that. But then Rollins counters it, and eventually a fireman's carry he attempted for, but Rollins slipped out of it. He kicks off the ropes, and then he eventually would hit the curb stomp boards. It's still it looks like it's good. The curb stomp again, as I probably keep saying how many times from over the past years as he's brought the move back. It's being called what it used to be called years ago when Rollins would use it as Tyler Black, the blackout, and Rollins wins. So solid match a little bit of the show, but definitely shocked Paul Heyman. Like, I don't know if we're going to keep using Shelton Benjamin as role or not, but I'm like, okay, I guess it kind of makes sense to me if Brock and Shelton Benjamin have a history together, but we'll see. We then, as Rollins is exiting, Finn Balor makes his entrance, and him and Rollins will shake hands. And Balor will be defending his Intercontinental Championship against Bobby Lashley when we come back. Obviously, last week in the 6-man tag match, that the boring trio of Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley had against Strowman, Balor, and Angle. Lashley pinned Balor. So obviously that's probably how he earned his IC title shot. Which was like, okay, fine, me. We had the match. Again, the crowd wasn't into it, but again, I thought it was a decent match. It wasn't awful, but it was decent. Again, my thing always is when Bobby Lashley's not just like being slow and being Mr. Bodybuilder and whatnot. Like again, I think I can deal with him in the ring. Of course, also I forgot to mention this before the match started, before the commercial break, is once again we had a commercial. Actually, funny thing was before Raw started, my mom asked me if I could take out the garbage. And I said, I'll get a commercial. I said, but don't worry, it's Raw. There's 3 hours, there's like 50 minutes of commercials. I'll be able to get that in like 2 minutes, basically. Of course, we had a bunch of random, commercial breaks that just make absolutely no freaking sense. But anyways, before the match started, like when Balor made his entrance, they randomly had Bobby Lashley appear on the Titantron with a close-up of his face. And there's like, oh, Bobby's eyes. Oh, it's so dangerous. I was like, okay, so we got from Bobby's sisters last year to now Bobby's eyes. Which I found Ronda Rousey's eyes a lot more intimidating than Bobby Lashley's eyes for sure. But the match happens again. It was all right. It wasn't the best, but the part I didn't like, of course, was the finish. It looked like Balor was about to win. Hitting us, Lashley did it at the snake eyes, but Finn barely hits a sling blade, a shotgun drop kick, but he heads to the top rope, about to hit the coup de grace. But then the bell starts ringing, and it's like, okay, who's out here? And then I kept thinking to myself, also like, why isn't Leo Rush out here? But obviously, Leo Rush is probably selling, him pretty much getting destroyed last week during that tag match when Braun Strowman like rammed through the barricade and like crushed him. But Leo Rush is out there, trying to distract Finn Balor because obviously it was Leo Rush's fault, which again, the problem again I had with that match at Chamber being a 2-on-1 handicap match is again, Finn Balor beat Leo Rush. So why was Leo Rush allowed to be involved in this handicap match? So Leo Rush has been trying to, redeem himself basically for what he did. And it worked because Balor it gave Lashley some. I mean, it looked like Lashley at first was going to be able to overcome Balor, but Balor was able to overcome him. Then he went for some type of like a high jump or something like that off the top rope. But a la Shane McMahon and Roman Reigns at Survivor Series 2016, Lashley speared Balor, knocking the wind out of him. And Bobby Lashley's now your new Intercontinental Champion. So we have a feud that, got started back in October after Lashley turned heel. The matches were pointless back then. Balor, I was okay with the match they had, except for the fact it was a handicap match at Chamber, and this match wasn't too bad either. But why are we dropping the title back to Lashley? Like why? It doesn't feel like that's special. We're just going back and forth, 50-50 booking. The title's going back and forth. Doesn't feel as relevant, of course, as it used to whenever, The Miz had it. So now Lashley's champion again. I guess we're going to be getting Lashley and Balor again with Leo Rush banned from ringside or something like that at WrestleMania. I don't know, but I guess Balor's going to win the title back, but it was point taking off him. Again, why keep the title on him and have Finn Balor? And again, I suggested in my printed match card of WrestleMania, which, if you haven't done so yet, check it out. Get the views. I've only a little over 100. And again, my match cards used to kick ass in views, but they have not been for quite some time now. So I wanted to see Finn Balor defend the Intercontinental Championship against Sami Zayn. Maybe we'll get that after WrestleMania, because I'm pretty sure if Sammy's not going to be coming back for WrestleMania, he's definitely coming back after the Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania. He's definitely coming back. There's no that he's got to be ready. So I don't know. So I wasn't a fan of the finish. I'm not a fan of Lashley getting that IC title back. I thought it was stupid, but who knows? Backstage, we have Baron Corbin interviewed. Video played of what he said about Roman last year, a week after he had to vacate the Universal Championship. He admits he said, but he's not going to worry about hurting people's feelings. He wanted Roman gone, and now that he's back, great, but overcoming the disease took its toll, and he's going to be exposed tonight, he said. Of course, we did not get that match, as we'll get to that later on. We then see Ronda Rousey walking backstage with a deadly look in her eyes again. Much more intimidating looking than Bobby Lashley's eyes, for sure, as I said before. But I agree, this was probably Ronda's best promo to date. Ronda comes out, of course, not smiling or anything, just charges in, which now that she's heel, I get and keep going back to this. I really feel they need to change her theme song a little bit, because to me, it still sounds too bubbly for her. Like, before the babyface, here's the thing, like Ronda Rousey as a babyface was not a flop. It was not. It had ran its course, though, and it was definitely the right time to turn her. Like, it was one of those turns I felt it wasn't, well, again, I feel like it happened a week too soon, because storyline-wise, I feel they could have waited till either after the match at Fastlane or waited till tonight to turn Ronda heel. But the babyface run, was basically just Ronda, coming in, just like, being for real, happy that she's getting this opportunity, basically. Like, obviously she was a fan, before, when she was in the UFC, and again, this is her, going in there doing that, and she wants to make what's best for the business. Now, of course, feeling that, she's had the right person to make her the villain, such as Becky Lynch. It has transitioned, her to more of like a heel role, and she, of course, capitalized on it last week. But this, again, I feel that they need to change that theme song up a little bit. Again, it still sounds too bubbly for her, especially as a heel. It's too bubbly for her. She comes out and she tells the crowd to take their applause and shove it, because she doesn't give a damn about any bandwagon bitches think, and says to how Becky Lynch is a coward and the hero we deserve. Every one of us booing her would cower before her if we didn't have the safety of the barrier. She's come to desecrate our place of worship and humiliate and embarrass Charlotte and Becky on the grandest stage of them all. She wants to expose WWE as the corny con artists they've always been and walk out of WrestleMania as Raw Women's Champion. No one can stop them. In fact, WWE can make it into a handicap match if she wants. She'd embarrass them to break a sweat. And then anyone who believes in this charade is a joke. Now, again, of course, I enjoyed that part, because, again, even though, of course, again, this is advertised with them, Ronda Rousey explaining her actions. Didn't really explain her actions from Fastlane, but as like, why she just handed Becky this opportunity. But again, I like this because it comes out to the terms about how this is setting up again, this match is not just going to give Becky Lynch a moment at WrestleMania. And yes, again, I still will say that, to get to where we are at this point, they've kind of really made the story a lot more complicated than it needs to be. But this match, obviously, of course, we thought that, like Charlotte was going to be, the biggest heel out of the three of them in this match. But honestly, having Ronda being the bigger heel makes sense because obviously, again, this is going to start planting the seeds for the 4 Horsewoman match, which will probably take place later this year. If the rumors are true, they will not be having an Evolution pay-per-view Survivor Series, then probably this match will happen. And again, as I keep saying, make it a War Games match. So obviously having, Ronda Rousey just like, crapping on, the whole idea of what this business is, like, makes sense because it's definitely, a shoot, setting up, UFC versus WWE down the line. But of course, that wasn't the best line she had for sure. We'll then cut to where this was like, okay, what the hell is this? Like, this is where like the rest of the crowd was like, what the fuck is this here? Out comes Dana Brooke with like no makeup on, looking just plain and defeated. And Dana tried, but this was pathetic. She comes out telling Ronda, we've heard enough of her. She's not gonna, and she's got nothing to lose, so she's not gonna let her disrespect the WWE or any of the women in the locker room. She may not be a big time fighter, but I love this business. I work my tail off to get here and earn the respect of the locker room. Each week I fight for a chance, and I don't always get the time of day, or I don't even get a match or even be on TV. And I may not be a big name, but all I want is just one chance. As you usually offer an open challenge night after the pay-per-view, well, my name is Dana Brooke and I accept. Basically, no offense, kind of being exactly Colin from Saturday Night Live and just going out there trying to act like you're some type of big name, which we all know it's like, Dana, just leave. We like, if it wasn't for heel Emma in NXT, you literally would be nothing because you've been nothing since you came to the main roster, and right now you're absolutely nothing. Like someone like her or the Ascension, I don't know how they're still even employed by the company. But Ronda didn't even hesitate. She just took her jacket off and just brutally attacked Dana. She was hitting judo throws, she was rolling up, she was in Piper's Pit, wrist locks, and then the referees come out to stop her. She even bitch slapped the referee across the face before she left the ring, although she almost left the ring without her Raw Women's Championship and her jacket. But my favorite part of this whole segment, though, was when Ronda Rousey was going for the armbar, that deadly armbar finisher that obviously would, really severely hurt someone's arm, especially in UFC it did. And Ronda Rousey stands up and says, you got to pay $60 to see that, or something like that. Referring to how, okay, the WWE Network, only requires you to pay $9.99 to watch a pay-per-view, or, $60, in high definition or whatnot. But anyways, you can watch a pay-per-view very cheap. You can watch WrestleMania for only $10 if you wanted to, basically take a shot at that. But UFC, nope, you gotta see that for $60. So it's like she's giving, we're getting UFC Ronda Rousey now, which again works. Again, she was fine as a baby face, but obviously again at some point you're going to have to turn her heel and really bring in her even more deadlier out, bring more of a UFC Ronda Rousey into WWE. And again, again, I feel they produced the heel turn storyline wise, they produced it a week too early. But again, this is what it needs to be. And this is, of course, the seeds planting for that eventual 4 Horsewoman match later this year. That will be awesome for sure. But yeah, Dana Brooke just tried to act like she was some big hero, but no. And if you guys are gonna ask, I am not doing a turnaround on Dana Brooke unless there is a long-term story, some long-term booking, miraculous idea for Dana Brooke to be taken seriously. I am not doing a turnaround. I can bet you any money in another week or two she'll be out there as a heel again. She will be. She will be, because she is going nowhere. But yeah, so we got that. That was a pretty good there. We have Aleister Black and Ricochet taking on Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. This match was all right, but look, I get this is probably supposed to be DIY. And yes, they're probably going to be having DIY kind of be parallel with what they were in NXT, but don't keep putting Aleister Black and Ricochet in the same tag matches every single week. The match was what it was. The NXT stars won. Afterwards, when Black and Ricochet were walking face, I had this speculation, what if I thought maybe, because last week a lot of people thought that, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, may have turned heel for their involvement in the tag match last week. But then again, they attacked the heels first again. It just looked weird. And I thought maybe this would be a night where Bobby Roode turns on Chad Gable. But then after the match, Ricochet and Aleister Black walk up the ramp just for the Revival to attack them from behind. And then Bobby Roode, Chad Gable just came up the ramp, just stared at them. And that was it. So I'm like, okay, like, are we just getting the same exact match at WrestleMania again? Like, I don't know. So we had that happen. Then we had this segment, a moment of bliss, where Alexa Bliss is going to reveal who's going to be the host at WrestleMania. And newsflash, I called it as soon as this segment was revealed, like, it's going to be Alexa Bliss. She'll try to walk out and fool us, you know, with having her 2 chairs, saying you're going to bring out the host, and it's going to be Alexa Bliss. Yes, she has nothing to do right now. Yes, and maybe just playing it safe with, you know, her, you know, concussion history or whatever the heck it is. But what's her going to be at WrestleMania going to do for me? Probably nothing. No, probably nothing really at all. So I didn't really care. So okay, Alexa's in charge of host WrestleMania, whatever. Live chat, see what we got here. Just some stuff from Mark. He would love to see John Cena as Kurt Angle's final opponent at WrestleMania. We'll get to that, of course, in a little bit. The final match was brutal and hard to watch for sure. We'll talk about that, of course. And Brock decides to show up next week. Yeah, I forgot about that because during the match with Rollins and Shelton, Brock apparently called her, or Heyman got a phone call saying that Brock was showing up next week. So, okay, probably will, because they're not so focused on, you know, Brock not showing up and pitching him to be like this, you know, terrible champion like they were when he's with Roman last year. But, you know, they might still do it. Who knows? Let's see here. About time. So does this mean we're getting a triple threat match at Mania with Beth versus Nia and Tamina versus Tamina and Bayley and Sasha? Well, again, obviously, the rumors being like maybe 16 to 18 WrestleMania matches, which is way too many. Probably, you know, I'm sick of, you know, WrestleMania anymore, just having so many multiple person matches, so many triple threats, so many fatal 4-ways. When you have that many, it takes the value away because you're getting too much of the same old shit. I personally think they might go as far as making it a fatal 4-way, having Sasha and Bayley defend against Beth Phoenix and Natalya, Nia and Tamina, and the Iconics, because the Iconics are making a statement how, like, you know, Sasha and Bayley have not been over to SmackDown yet to defend the women's tag titles. So my guess is maybe those 4. Maybe it'd be nice to have maybe Io Shirai and Kairi Sane in there instead, but I don't think that's going to happen at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, it'd be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I think that's what's going to happen with that. So I wonder what they're going to have Roman and Dean do at Mania. Roman, I have an idea, but Dean, I'm kind of feeling different now based off of that main event. I'll get to that, of course, towards the end. I can't wait to see what Vince and Shane have to say tomorrow, which I agree too. Definitely finally give some reason as to why Vince keeps going after Kofi and see what Shane's reason was for attacking The Miz. Will they please give Lacey Evans a match right and stop having her walk down and up the ramp? Oh, they made it slightly different different tonight, but it was still annoying and stupid. Anyways, and why don't they have a WrestleMania host every year? I have no clue. But once again, anymore, what's the point of WrestleMania hosts anymore most of the time? Again, Alexa Bliss is doing it because she has nothing else to do. So whatever. So, oh goodness. That was a bad time for me to cut it, go back and go to the live chat, come back, because this was probably my least favorite segment of the night. Backstage, we have a video package of what happened last week with the Saturday Night Live guys, Mike and Colin, who were so freaking annoying, especially that Colin guy. Being just a typical fan that just, well, a typical, you know, not even a casual viewer that has no idea what this business is all about, trying to act like he thinks he knows, but he doesn't. And he just exposes the business again. That was just, drove me crazy last week. This was even more pathetic. Braun Strowman was interviewed because remember he choked out Colin up against the wall, and he says that guy better stay away from him. He doesn't care if he's got the right or not. He liked jacking him up by his neck, and then all of a sudden a crew member informs Strowman that his car is here. But he's like, what car? And then we go to commercial break again, because commercial breaks happen at whenever they feel like it. Back from commercial break, we see that Braun has a car and a card with him. And the card says that last week they did things they regret. So the cast of Saturday Night Live got him this brand new car and hopes he treats it better than Vince McMahon's limousine. Basically, just a gift saying, I'm sorry for what we did to you last week, but just just here's our little forgiveness gift. Then Braun Strowman just goes to see it, and he just tears off the doors, angrily just, beat it up, saying that it's too small. He tears the driver's seats out. He elbows the windshield, ripping off the hood, stomping the bumper down, wrecking this like he's wrecked how many other vehicles just because hey, guess what? Braun Strowman can tear shit up. Well, he can tear shit up. He can dump over ambulances. He can dump over limousines. He can pull down a whole set of a stage on top of Brock Lesnar and Kane, but they don't give him the damn Universal Championship. And you've gotten Braun Strowman just has not recovered at all. Like any week I feel okay, maybe this is when he'll pick things back up. No, because the problem is the only way to be Braun Strowman will feel like he's actually gotten somewhere is if he's gotten the Universal or WWE, the main event championship. Not a mid-card title, because that won't do anything for him. A main event championship. And right now, he is nowhere close to it. For a guy that was as over as he was in 2017, as a single star, this guy has never had a good WrestleMania moment. It's been nothing but just a comedy act and a joke. At WrestleMania 33, he was dumped out by everyone in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Of course, that was, right before he started getting his serious booking against Roman Reigns that got him over. WrestleMania 34, he was going to have a tag team match, Holla Holla player, and he has a surprise partner. But guess who it was? A freaking 10-year-old kid. That's where I feel Braun Strowman just took the biggest hit of his career. Then he went on to have a few Kevin Owens. Then he turned heel for no reason whatsoever, just because he went to cash in. Oh, how dare you cash in Roman Reigns? You'll be a heel now. Well, guess what? John Cena had Money in the Bank. Never turned him heel. CM Punk even admitted that, in a segment that Alberto cashing in on him was upsetting him about SummerSlam, because he says, I've done that before, and what people do it, blah, blah, blah. Now you're literally this year going to have his WrestleMania moment be based around two dumbasses from Saturday Night Live. Okay, I'm pretty sure that what they do on Saturday Night Live is entertaining, but what they are doing right now on this show is not entertaining. It's stupid. It's making Braun Strowman the freaking monster among men to the babysitter among men, as Rob Kenobi says too. I don't even know what this is now. Like, he's even beyond babysitter among men. He's nothing. That's what he is now. He's nothing. He is absolutely nothing. You could not tell me 1 year ago, I'd say before Elimination Chamber, where I felt Braun Strowman started to really go downhill, you could not tell me 1 year later I'd be standing here and saying Braun Strowman is absolutely nothing. And it's unfortunate. What he's going to do is just, chokeslam both the Saturday Night Live guys just because at WrestleMania. It's going to do nothing. It's going to do absolutely nothing. It's going to just fill up time at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, not fill up time. Extend WrestleMania even to like 6 or 7 hours long. I'm not talking pre-show. I'm talking main show, damn it. Oh, boy. Again, I'm hoping this show – I still have, hopes that, good stuff's going to happen at WrestleMania. But there's going to be some stuff I'm going to be sitting there and I'm like, bang my head going like, why am I doing this? Why? This is killing me. Why? Least favorite part of the show for sure was this segment. Oh boy, but then of course we got this. We have Elias in the ring singing a song, and he says who wants to walk with Elias, but he doesn't the whole thing about that. WWE stands for walk with Elias, blah blah blah, whatnot. At first it wasn't too bad. He was, saying that he pledged not to come back to his hometown until he was a star, and here he is. He says it's a miracle, he's success, because the majority of the folks here are enormous wastes of life. How dare you? And it's the miserable people that hold the great people back, basically. So I'm like, okay, this is all right so far, because I feel like Elias did pick up some momentum based off of what he did last night at Fastlane. I really like that. I feel like it started to kind of get a little more juice back in Elias. But then who comes out? No way, Jose, no way, Jose, with this stupid ass looking green hair. I'm just like, what'd you do? You get a bunch of boogers in your hair, or like what? Because it's probably because St. Patrick's Day he dyed his hair green. Who the heck knows? He comes out and Elias just drop kicks him and just beats down everyone in the conga line. Basically, hits a nice looking drift away on the steel steps. But it's like, okay, what the hell was that? And then here's the thing. Also, Elias was demanding for a microphone, and then we just cut away and do absolute and just didn't even do anything. I'm just like, what? Like, he was going to say something. I was actually invested what he wanted to say. I thought maybe it was set for somebody else to come out, but who knows? But of course, who came out after? Well, we then had the video package for Harlem Heat's induction to the Hall of Fame. But then of course it comes out. This time she doesn't even walk down the ramp. She just walks up to Renee Young, waves a fan, and starts walking back to the entrance. And then out comes Tamina and Nia Jax. And Nia and Lacey have a stare down and then just walks away again. Just pitiful and pathetic. Could someone just please literally just one time, I don't care who you are, just one time, just like clothesline her or something. Get her to stop walking back and forth because it's getting old. Literally, they do it on every Raw, every SmackDown, Elimination Chamber, Fastlane. It already feels like it's been done more than the advertisements for Emelina returning or Emelina coming soon. Never happened because she went back from Emelina to Emma, which I loved Emma a lot better for sure, even though Emma in general was a pretty hot woman in general. But anyways, getting off topic, miss you, Tennille Dashwood. Okay, come back to earth here. So on a rant, of course, because this was stupid. So I'm cool with Beth Phoenix, getting this, it looks like they're going to involve Beth Phoenix in some type of match at WrestleMania. But you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that because, we've already seen Trish and Lita do it. I mean, even though I was hoping for Sasha and Bayley versus Trish and Lita at WrestleMania, I'm cool with Beth Phoenix getting this instead. You can't always keep bringing back the same part-timers, the same legends just to do the same thing every single time. Bring someone new in, fine. I'm cool with this. I'm completely cool with this. But this match made absolutely no sense. We have Natalya coming out saying that she's been thinking about who has her back and she thought it was going to be Ronda, but nope, not the case. Blah, blah, blah. Just pretty much implying that her and Ronda are no longer friends, because Ronda turned heel. Okay, whatever. Just pushed her out the door. But she doesn't trust Nia or Tamina. Like, okay, that's obviously true. And she knows her best friend have her back. And then, of course, that's when Beth Phoenix comes out. And then we're supposed to have a match with Natalya and Nia Jax. Now, the match barely happens because Tamina was holding back Natalya's leg in the match. Okay. So you think Beth Phoenix would go attack Tamina and take her out of the equation? No, they have her go in the ring and attack Nia Jax for disqualification? Huh? Like, what? Why would you do that? Like, why would you cost your best friend a match? Why would you not go after the one who was causing the distraction in the match, Tamina? Instead, it made no sense. And then they bail, they go backstage, and then Sasha and Bayley randomly start attacking them. I'm just like, this makes no fucking sense. I was confused. It's like you literally just wasted, some time for what? Just to have Nia Jax and Tamina get another beatdown again. I don't know. I'd rather have it just be just Sasha, Bayley, Natty, and Beth. Not as exciting as it sounds as Trish and Lita, but again, I'm cool with Beth getting this chance instead. Have her have a match, for the first time in how many years? I'm cool with it. But again, what was the point of this? This was stupid. I didn't get it at all. Like, would Beth Phoenix attack the person in the ring when it's a person outside the ring who's causing a distraction? That's a Hall of Famer there. You made it look stupid. You look stupid. You look stupid. Or you look stupid. Then we have, okay, let's get to this. Let's have a little bit of fun here, guys. We have a big vehicle rolling up, and it's Batista coming out. And, of course, blue shades and that, again, weird-looking nose ring. That, again, I've never been a fan, though. I mean, all respect those who have piercings. I've just never been a fan of piercings. I don't know why. Like a nose stud, like maybe, but a nose ring, like wrapped around the nose, and I don't know, again. It's kind of a turnoff for me. Like, whether it's on boys or girls. Well, again, I'm straight, of course. No homo. Well, I completely talk about it. But anyways, again, like the nose ring to me just doesn't fit Batista. I'm like, okay, it's a little weird. So out comes Triple H, coming into the ring, waiting for Batista, and Batista comes out. And at first, he brings out security, and I'm like, okay, don't tell me this is gonna be where Batista does not talk at all, and he just walks away and leaves. Because as he said in his little Instagram video last week, that we're playing things my way. Well, here's where I want to kind of, take a page out of Deluxe Man. Because I watched his review while I was getting a couple of things done before I did my review. And he didn't play this exact song, but he pretty much sung an a cappella, edition of how this segment felt. The results of this segment was cool, but this was kind of cringeworthy, this whole segment. If I could find the song here on my phone. I hear this song how many times at my wedding gigs? Yo, give me what you want, what I really want. Yo, give me what I want, what I really want. Give me whatever what it was. Okay, not without going too long, so I won't get a copyright strike on this video. But yeah, they basically did like a parody of Spice Girls, and if they would have done it, maybe like once or twice, like back and forth, okay. But they went back and forth like 5 or 10 times. It was Triple H demanding Batista to get in the ring. And then all Batista could say was, give me what I want. 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 Yo, give me what I want. What I want. No, give me what I want. I'm okay. Just choking my spit for a second. Give me what I want. What I really want. Give me what I want. What I really want. I want another. I really want you WrestleMania 35. But it kind of was like, kept saying, what I want. And here's the thing. Last week, Triple H says he knows what he wants. He's been hearing things online for the past 2 years. And I thought Triple H would at least know that Batista wants a match with Triple H at WrestleMania. And then Triple H was telling him, get down here to fight me like a man, basically, and whatnot. Again, just going back and forth. How many times? And I'm saying how many times as well. So I'm already feeling like I'm in that segment. Give me what I want, what I really want. Give me. Again, parody of Spice Girls, basically. But anyways, but then finally Batista says after like how many minutes of gimme, we finally hear him say, I want you at WrestleMania. And to my shock, Triple H looked surprised that that's what Batista wanted. Like, last week, you said you've heard him for the past 2 or so years say on the internet what he wants. Like, I know what this is about. He kind of seemed surprised. I'm like, what were you thinking he wanted? I mean, maybe he thought he wanted an opportunity for a championship, because he mentioned how, Batista just always quits when he doesn't get what he wants and whatnot. But Triple H finally was like, you want me at WrestleMania? Yeah, I want you at WrestleMania. You want me at WrestleMania? Give me what I want. You want me at WrestleMania? Give me what I want. Again, going back and forth. Like, just say it, for crying out loud. You're on. I'm like, okay, about time they say it. And of course, Batista was just like, that's it. As soon as it said it, this whole segment went from from a heated argument to okay, cool, I'm gone. It's like, what? Like, you kind of just overdid it, maybe just a smidge, which if he would have cut back on that, give me, the ending wouldn't have felt so abrupt this whole entire show. But Batista keeps saying that we're going to be doing this on my terms, basically. He said that's all I've ever wanted. It's all I've ever wanted. if you want to be my partner, you got that in my. Okay, sorry. But this is what he's always wanted: one last match to end his career on his terms, and to end Hunter's career on his terms. Of course, telling him that he couldn't wait to. Well, or of course, some of those things that was emphasized, gimme was the fact that he couldn't wait. He did quick because he wanted to get away as far from Hunter as he could, always looking down on him and shutting him out. And of course, Triple H said something about he's too big of a coward coming onto the ring, showing up as a Hollywood wannabe, tearing through the Guardians of the Independence, wherever they are, just trying to make reference to some of his movies that he did. But he says that Batista says is what I wanted was one last match of his career to end his career on his terms and to also end Hunter's career as well. But Triple H says he's right. You'll see me at WrestleMania, but you better dig down deep because you better find whatever scrap is left of the animal because when they get to Mania, it might be on Dave's terms, but the match will be on his. Everything you have, it'll be no rules, no restrictions, no law, no holds barred. Which, okay, aside from that cringeworthy gimme crap, I love it. I actually hope these guys are both in great shape because if they both are in great shape, this is going to be one hell of a match. This match with Triple H and Batista, I cannot wait now. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to be like a 20-minute match because Triple H always wants like a 20, 25-minute match. Against Undertaker, I say no, but against Batista, we'll see. Hopefully he's in a little better shape than he was last time. Because last time, be real, he wasn't really in the best shape I've seen him be in. So, we're having the match at WrestleMania 35, Batista and Triple H. I think I'm looking forward to it. The holds barred. Let's go. So we got that. Then we have Kurt Angle coming out to address his future. Of course, getting the "You Suck" chance of respect. Of course, this is in his hometown of Pittsburgh, PA. Gets a microphone saying about how 23 years ago he left Pittsburgh to compete in the Olympics. He won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. And that led him to WWE, where he's faced and defeated just about every legend and Hall of Famer in the business. No matter where he goes, Pittsburgh is always his home, which is why he saved this announcement for tonight. At WrestleMania, he will compete in his farewell match, which, again, past few months, it's really showed that Kurt Angle is not what he used to be. Like, I keep thinking, sorry, Kurt, but I think you're done, buddy. I love you, man. I had the privilege of meeting you last year. I had the privilege of talking about one of my favorite matches I've ever watched. Even if I wasn't watching around that time, I went back and saw his match with Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 21. Again, still by far one of my favorite matches I've watched. Again, I even got to even tell him how much I appreciate that match, and I got to even chat with him about it when I met him last year at the World Wheels Convention. It was a blessing. It's time, and I'm cool with him having one last match at WrestleMania. If that's his swan song, fine. It'll be special that I'll be able to be there for it. Of course, he, does a little like, thanking everyone for WWE, every superstar, and thanking all of us who's made this fun. And he also wanted to make sure he has one last match here in Pittsburgh. And out came someone who's been a big fan of him, apparently Apollo Crews, and they have a little bit of, like a friendly swan song match. Nothing really much happened to it. Kurt Angle wins with an Angle slam afterwards. Him and Crews hug it out and just, show mutual respect to each other. But no word on who Kurt Angle's going to face. Who knows? It'll probably be Baron Corbin because he's been a big thorn in Kurt's side for how long now, but I don't care. I do not want to see Baron Corbin does not need a singles match at WrestleMania. I mean, if it was like last year, the year before, well, probably the year before, I would say yes, he definitely deserved it. But now, no. Again, he's gone downhill big time. His promo skills have gotten awful, Mister. This is just pathetic, guys. You sound like you're literally a typewriter, like typing out things, or a freaking robot, guys. What is going on here? Scripted as hell. He can't even do a hand motion that makes it look realistic at all. He looks like he's literally like holding a scripted face like, oh man, this is just pathetic. And he's probably going to be Kurt Angle's farewell match at WrestleMania. God. I wouldn't have minded Drew McIntyre because, McIntyre was kind of the match he had with McIntyre was when he went downhill. A lot of people think it should be John Cena, which not opposed to it. It was also suggested The Undertaker, since they're both about to go out the door. I would love for it to be John Cena based off their history, but I'd rather see Cena and Joe, and this is the prime time to do Cena and Joe. So unfortunately, it's going to be wasted on probably Baron Corbin, but it better be just brief and just quick. So then afterwards, we see Roman Reigns come out getting ready for his match. But speaking of the devil, when Roman came out, guess what attacks him? Drew McIntyre ambushes him and starts beating him down, hammering him with punches, throwing the big dog to the post, letting him crash to the floor. Roman gets up trying to fire up with his right hands, but then McIntyre steps back and he hits a claymore, a first claymore on Roman to his jaw. Because originally this was supposed to be Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin. He hits a claymore on Roman, just flat on there. But he picks up Roman again, and he sets him up perfectly. He hits a second claymore on Roman, but this time it like yanks Roman's head to the side, bam, smacks right into the ring post, and it looked like it hurt like a SOB. And I'm just like, oh man, like that's a good way to sell a concussion right there. And that's what it looked like it did, because afterwards the medical staff came down to check on Roman. They're like shining lights in his eyes. Rollins came down to check on him. Just Rollins, though, not Ambrose, which I'm like, okay, a little curious here. Roman says he's not doing this out here, and Seth says that's okay, and he gets the trainer to back off while encouraging him to say he's not okay if he's not okay. But then Roman's like, I just got a little bit of a headache, but then he's okay. And, I guess he wanted to fight, but they start making their way up the ramp. And keep this in mind. Well, I'll say this towards the end of something I swore I heard McIntyre say on this beatdown on Roman. So they make their way up the ramp together. Of course, we go to a commercial. After commercial, we see Dean Ambrose join the backstage, walking to the trainer's room for Roman to get checked. Seth and Roman go in, but then Dean shuts the door, and I'm like, okay. And then he just starts running down the hallway furiously, where he runs into Triple H, demanding a match against Drew McIntyre. No disqualifications, no countouts, make it falls count anywhere. And Triple H smiles and says, hell yeah, it's on. I'm like, interesting. I'm like, is like Dean like going all out here, showing he cares about his brother just to eventually turn on him eventually? But the way, we'll get that in a second. So then the match is on. Dean comes out, weighing in the ring. And then out, and of course, I think during this entrance, it was during their Shield entrance, they mentioned that Dean's contract, he's not going to be renewing his contract. So Dean comes out, but then Drew comes out, no music, and this says, are you going to take this beating like a man or squeal like his pathetic brother? Ambrose then just charges down as the bell rings, and the match begins with them just brawling on the stage and into the crowd. They went up the stands. Again, this was a brutal match. They went up the stands and right by like the press box. And there was a spot where it looked like that McIntyre was going to throw Ambrose out of the press box into the crowd, but Ambrose recovered, smashed like McIntyre's head on top of like a thing that had popcorn. And then we got, of course, the commercial break, which cut out a pretty good spot in the match, because it's when it showed after they came back from the commercial break, they apparently were brawling, up on the catwalk or whatever it was up there, and right by the concessions and whatnot, where the merchandise was, brawling out there. And again, I've seen that spot because I know where it is, because I've been inside PPG Paints Arena before. Fans, again, I still hate being called PPG Paints, should be just PPG, but I hate PPG Paints. But anyway, I hate the name, just PPG. But anyways, they did show that. They back from commercial, they show them brawling, back down into around the ring. I don't think this match truly ever got inside the ring, but it was just physical and brutal. And then it goes out to the opposite side of where they're at. They were brawling again. They used Ambrose used a low blow on McIntyre to kind of turn things around. I think because he was using a steel chair on him at some. Well, McIntyre was trying to use a steel chair on Ambrose at some point, but then Ambrose got him on top of the like one of those little big barricade box. Where it's the same thing that Samoa Joe used to write off Ambrose from his arm injury last December. Well, in December of 2017, shortly after Survivor Series. But he just pretty much just pushes McIntyre down like that, pathway there, and just rams into another one, and McIntyre falls off. So they're brawling. But then they get to back onto the stage by being announced table. Of course, Renee's freaking out, saying he's gonna drive home tonight, which again, Renee Young's okay on commentary. I know a lot of people prefer Beth over Renee, which I kind of do, but the biggest problem is every time Dean's out there, Renee just makes it so freaking awkward. But then this is where the match really, I mean, the match was great, but this is what was pretty vicious as well. So, they were brawling on the announce desk. And then this is where the match just went downhill for Dean. Not, of course, went up, of course, a great quality, but downhill for Dean. McIntyre hits him with a low blow. Then he takes a pencil on the announce table, stabs Ambrose in the eye. And I'm just like, whoa. And then he picks up Ambrose, hits him with a lawn dart into the LED board. Ambrose is, swinging blindly, trying to get back up. Gets a slap to the jaw, and then Drew just fires up again, hammering him with some punches, and he slams him again with a lawn dart into the LED board. And it looked like, I'm starting to think, oh man, maybe this is the end here, guys. And then, very nice finish. I hope WWE.com got a really nice photo because I want to make this my thumbnail for this live review for sure. He puts Ambrose's head on like the railing of like the stairwell onto the stage and does a Claymore kick on Ambrose, so vicious that obviously Ambrose's head had hit some part of that rail. It broke the rail off the stage. And that's where McIntyre pinned Ambrose 1, 2, 3. McIntyre stands on the table. Ambrose is slowly, of course, trying to rise, showing he's a badass. But then he hits another Claymore, and then abruptly, boom, it gets cut off there. Of course, again, if they would have said the gimme, what? Okay, what you want? What you want a match? Yes, I do. Other matches, I do. No, okay, I'm going too crazy with that. But anyways, abrupt ending, but dang, what a vicious match, especially that ending for sure, with the pencil to the eye, the Claymore kick with the freaking with Ambrose wrapped around the freaking post. I'm just like, dang, man, they really made McIntyre like a monster. So obviously, so obviously that beatdown, it looks like we're gonna be getting a match with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, which I'm cool with. But what kind of gives me a little more hope with this is because at first, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, okay, but this means Roman's probably going to win. Well, Drew said during his beatdown that he was going to take either on Roman or at some point, in the match towards the end with Ambrose, you hear him say something like, I'm going to take apart each member of you guys one by one. And to me, it was like he took out Ambrose. He could take out Reigns at WrestleMania, and that could set up for him feuding with Rollins for the Universal Championship after WrestleMania. Would I like to have been waited till SummerSlam? Honestly, yes, but the sooner the better. I mean, still, like making McIntyre look like a dominating badass for a Universal Champion, because he definitely deserves it. Because at first, like after Royal Rumble, when he got led to the Royal Rumble until last night, I was starting to feel that McIntyre was on the downfall. This whole alliance with him, Corbin, and Lashley just wasn't digging. I wasn't digging. It felt like it was starting to bring him down. But this rose him back up. And of course, him defeating John Cena be awesome. But I want Cena to go after Joe. Him and Joe for the U.S. title. Put over Joe WrestleMania. McIntyre gets put over by Reigns. McIntyre's feuding for the Universal Championship after WrestleMania. As far as Dean goes, I'll be real. If Dean would have won this match, I would have been thinking there's a chance he's still staying. But the way, with the story here of looking like that McIntyre is trying to take out each member of the Shield one by one, and he kind of took out Dean here, this could have been Dean's last match. Like, I was starting again for a time being having this feeling that maybe Ambrose leaving was a work. Starting to little drift away from that. What happened tonight started to make me believe that maybe this was Ambrose's last match. The way he was beaten down, like maybe this was him being written off the show. I hate to say it, but it gave me that feeling when it happened. And if that's the case, he sure went out looking like a badass. Again, like this, like the match altogether was incredible with him and McIntyre, but especially the bumps he took in the last like couple minutes. Again, the pencil shot to the eye, that the lawn darts to the LED board, that freaking Claymore kick in while wrapped around the post. Again, the Claymore kick hit on Roman into the ring post was deadly. This was more vicious because the fact that the post the railing actually came out of its place and was still wrapped around Dean when he went to pin him. Absolute badass moment there for Drew McIntyre. Again, this is a guy who, again, he's going to be, at some point this summer, McIntyre is going to be Universal Champion. Of course, Rollins is going to have his moment at Mania, but McIntyre, like, Raw is going to be his show starting this summer. Raw will definitely be Drew McIntyre's show once this summer happens. And I can't wait. And even if eventually Roman, dethrones McIntyre, they give him a good, lengthy run, he'll have this win over Roman at WrestleMania. If Roman eventually dethrones McIntyre and that's how Roman gets his Universal title shot back, fine. Cool with me. Awesome. Fine. But they really made McIntyre look like an absolute monster tonight in that last hour. And that's one of the reasons why I definitely woke up with the show. Because in that second hour, I was not feeling it. I thought that second hour sucked. That third hour was pretty darn good, especially that main event. But yeah, before tonight's show, I was still thinking, okay, Dean might be staying. I could see where this week's setting him up. But again, this may have been Dean being written off. I hate to say, but it could have been. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, though, of course, as we get to WrestleMania. Could it's been it for Dean Ambrose? And if so, Dean, thank you for everything. And thank you for at least putting on one more very dominating hardcore match for sure. And take some of the craziest bumps you took in that match, definitely. Hats off to a really big and Drew McIntyre looking like a badass. And that was Raw, guys. Let me check the grades. 11 votes. 9% said A, 27% said B, 18% said C, 46% said D or lower. The show definitely did have some low points, especially that second hour, but there was some stuff I thought was still good, so I thought it was a decent show. Gave it a C+. C+ for the Raw after Fastlane. Let's see what we got here in the live chat. Let me see here. We got some more people in the live chat. Awesome. I think we got here. I can't believe Braun doesn't have a match at WrestleMania. I can't either. It's a shame. He's literally just going to have, a segment with 2 Saturday Night Live guys. Still makes me sick talking about it. We got Tic Tac Pineapple. What's up, man? Or her. I'm sorry. I don't know if you're a boy or girl yet. I'm so sorry. Elite Squad. It will be sad to see Kurt Angle retire for sure. It will definitely be a little emotional. But I'm glad I'm gonna be able to see it, and we all know it's time. We all know it's time, and they're not gonna beat around the bush like they are with Undertaker about it. So definitely, but again, probably wasted on Baron Corbin. It was awesome hearing Beth Phoenix's music play again for sure. I agree. Braun needs to win the Andre the Giant Royal Battle Royal. Honestly, have him win it and go to SmackDown. Have him win it and go to SmackDown. Go to SmackDown, get around, different environment, different audience. Have it be a refresher for him. Just go there and do it. I'm pushing now for Braun Strowman to go to SmackDown. If he doesn't go to SmackDown, then he's gonna suffer unless he leaves WWE. But Tic Tac was saying, I've been thinking about this Drew attacks. What if he wants to be in the championship picture and he tries to take out Seth next week? I mean, he took out Roman, beats down Dean. Would be an awesome twist. It would be for sure, definitely, but at most, I feel it will. This will again because I heard him say in the beatdown that he wants to take out each member of the Shield one by one. Then again, he kind of did take out. Roman tonight, so you could be right on there. So maybe they will go that route. Who knows? But let's Seth have his moment at WrestleMania. If they're going to at least put over McIntyre for big things for him to happen after WrestleMania, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. But that wouldn't be a bad idea either, though, Tic Tac. And zooming into him spitting in the mic, yeah, for sure, with Batista going, give me, I what I really want. Thank you, Spice Girls, again. Triple H will carry him pretty much. They need to put the title on Drew and fast, definitely. What's up, Jay? Angle versus Taker at Mania. Winner gets free knee surgery. Oh, man. Well, yeah, again, this is to retire both of them. Cool. I'd rather see that, though, than Angle and Corbin. No, not happening for me. Mark gave Raw a D. I really loved how they explored the Falls Count Anywhere stipulation. Fun match, but I was so bored by the previous 2 hours that I just could not care about this match, which understandable for sure. Am I the only one who still wants to know who threw the pie at Kevin Owens? Still kind of wondering that myself, too. Whoever did throw that pie at Kevin Owens. This was a great way to repackage Drew as a monster heel. Hope he separates himself from Corbin, but looking at it, it seems like it will be a tag match at Mania. Roman Ambrose versus Drew and Corbin. I don't know how I feel about that. A tag match, holla player, nah. Corbin doesn't need to be on this card. McIntyre does. Again, I'm hoping it's Roman and McIntyre. That's what I'm still hoping for. But if they have Dean, it cool. But after what happened tonight, I'm starting to get speculation that this may have been the last match for Dean, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens, though, of course. But not a bad idea, though, at all, Jay. Even though I'm not a fan of having so many tag matches. I'll see you then, Mark. McIntyre is definitely better as a solo act for sure. I think it's a work. I read that Ambrose is gone for a month and then returns and turns heel again and faces Rollins for the Universal Championship at some pay-per-view. Could happen. I mean, again, even if this is a work again, like this is them saying that Ambrose is done after this, and this could be a work. Could happen. I mean, who knows? Again, my thing is well, then again, if we have Roman lose to McIntyre, how would we be able to do this again? I was hoping again. Well, since Roman's back, we have if Roman didn't come back, I was hoping he would show up at WrestleMania, came out to celebrate with Seth Rollins when Seth won the Universal Championship. Dean came out, and that's where the turn happens. Because again, if this is a work, I feel this is WWE just, giving Dean time to, to work with him backstage, hit the reset button on his heel character and get it to, where it needs to be and not what they had before, him being a germaphobe. So yeah, this definitely had me wondering, is this a work? Is this not a work? I'm not sure. I mean, I was more convinced this was a work. But now that, what happened in that main event, I'm starting to feel that this is actually for real. He's leaving. But again, could be wrong. Could be WWE trying to trick us. But, of course, as I keep saying, though, is WWE that creative enough to go with the storyline? But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens, though. Jay thinks that he's going to that McIntyre will move to SmackDown and AJ will move to Raw. Maybe. We'll see. That's a possibility as well. He thinks it's a C show. Tic Tac Pineapple says, I feel like he tried to take out Seth next week and get his shot at the title, but Roman will save him Seth for Mania. Quite possibly, maybe. If they don't screw Drew up, he could be the best heel in the company. I agree for sure. McIntyre is right up there with Joe and Bryan as for the top heels of the main roster currently. Definitely. Will there even be an honor done about Royal because there was no mention of it? Who knows? There could be. I don't know. I mean, I thought they were going to do it. Maybe you thought with that stuff with Elias, no way Jose was going to step, and then went just poofs like that. But so who knows? And Elite Squad gives this C. I give it a C plus again. Again, this was of course in my hometown. But again, I didn't go to Raw tonight because again I want to save my money for WrestleMania. I'd say if it was the first and second hour and third hour, I'd say I would have been all right. But the second hour took me out of the show big time. But then, of course, it brought me back to life. So I'd say I wouldn't have completely regretted that I didn't go to. I wouldn't have completely, been upset that I didn't go to this Raw. I mean, I would have been fine going to this Raw, but it would not have been worth as much as worth the money to go to. But again, staying for Mania. Hopefully, I get my money's worth there. Either way, just the experience can be my money's worth for sure. But guys. That's going to be it for this live review of Raw. Thank you for tuning in, guys. See you guys tomorrow for my SmackDown live review. What grade would you give Raw? Leave thoughts down in the comments section below. And be sure to slap a like on the video and subscribe to our content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter @DemandEverybodyThing. I'll see you guys tomorrow for my SmackDown live review. So until then, guys, get some sleep. Have a great rest of your night. Peace out, everybody.